Well, it's a noisy debate putting homeowners against the feds. Areas that never had issues in the past now have hundreds of loud, low-flying airplanes streaming overhead.
Yeah, it all started with changes in flight patterns at the airport, and angry residents are looking for some peace and quiet. As ABC 2 News' Catherine Hawley found out, locals and lawmakers just want to find a balance between progress and pain.
The peaceful sounds of spring, shattered by the constant deafening rumble from jets.
It's like being in a thunderstorm. It's unexpected, it's loud, it's distracting.
Barbara Deckert and others who live in Howard and Anne Arundel counties have been fighting the roaring engines above for about 2 years. That's when the Federal Aviation Administration rolled out NextGen at BWI. It's a nationwide air traffic modernization initiative designed to cut down on airport delays while saving fuel and money.
This burns a fraction of the fuel and dramatically reduces aircraft exhaust emissions and noise.
One of the biggest changes is a move to performance-based navigation. These yellow tracks show a snapshot of the routes hundreds of airplanes used to take when departing BWI from one runway. You can see they were spread out, so airplane traffic above neighborhoods was more sporadic. But after NextGen, aircraft use satellites and equipment on board to follow more precise and repeatable flight paths. So there's a high concentration of planes thundering over the same homes. People living below the new superhighway of jets say travelers benefit, but homeowners pay the cost. And it's a daily hell. The relentless noise is destroying their quality of life, driving down their property values, and interrupting their sleep. This night, we counted 9 airplanes over a span of just 15 minutes.
It's a health problem, it's a money problem, and it's not helping anyone, despite what the FAA tells us.
According to the agency, before implementing the changes, studies were done that included noise analysis. Yet noise complaints to BWI significantly spiked since the routes were altered, going from nearly 300 calls in 2013 to almost 3,000 last year.
They see a frequency of flights. They see the flights flying lower, later, starting earlier.
Elected officials from the region met with the FAA, wrote numerous letters, and urged the agency to take immediate steps to help residents. The Howard County Council is even considering legal action against the FAA.
Frankly, I've been a little disappointed. I've been disappointed by the slow responses, the lack of response, and lack of action.
At the FAA's request, a community roundtable was formed back in March as a way to mitigate the issues. A frustrated and angry crowd gave the agency an earful.
All this saving fuel and time is just a boondoggle.
I'm counting 180 airplanes every day.
Now my house shakes and I do have little cracks in the ceiling.
Who's going to protect the interests of my home and all of my neighbors?
Members of the roundtable have been working to recommend adjustments and tweaks to the air traffic routes for the FAA to consider. Some say they feel like David facing Goliath.
How on earth do you think you can do a change from blue to red like that and not have any public discussion?
In April, the group passed a resolution requesting the FAA immediately revert to flight paths and procedures that were in place prior to the implementation of NextGen.
That dispersion, however you create that, those are the attributes that we're seeking.
Since that request, members of Congress and even the governor have stepped in, demanding the FAA make changes. Federal officials wouldn't sit down for an interview with ABC 2 News for this report, but said at a meeting reversing to pre-NextGen routes is impossible because the technology and procedures changed.
We cannot go back to what was before. We're going to have to find a way to work as partners to go forward.
The FAA can make revisions to the air traffic patterns and wants to explore some minor short-term fixes. However, trying to mimic the old flight paths with new technology or other major changes will take time.
We're going to try our best to do it within about a 12 to 18-month period.
Small steps in the right direction, but for people shouldering the burden, they're skeptical.
It's making me wonder whether or not I can stay in my home of 33 years. I was hoping to stay here for the rest of my life. I don't know if I'll be able to because of this.
Catherine Hawley, ABC 2 News.
Well, the FAA has been hit with lawsuits across the country over the new flight patterns and increased noise, and some cities have been successful getting the air traffic to follow routes similar to what existed before NextGen.
ABC 2 News reached out to Southwest Airlines to find out if the company is seeing positive results at BWI with the new system. Head to our website to see their response and details about the local roundtable group's next meeting.